Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pope.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Pope. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
To demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
To demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Today is Tuesday. It's the 25th of November. We have a sun sign in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, and a moon sign in Capricorn, which is an earth sign. So we have fire and earth working together. We know that we can take fire and earth in the world we live in, and we can create things like pottery. So we can see that there's a very practical use for these two different elements. Fire is also ideas, and earth, or the physical thing, the Capricorn, earth is form, physical things, the physical body, things that happen in the physical world, our careers, work. But remember, Capricorn also has with it the lesson that we need to look past the illusions of what's going on. We have some aspects today to be aware of. One of the aspects is a square lesson coming up. Well, actually, just about an hour ago, we had an aspect which was Pluto and Capricorn are right next to each other, in conjunction with each other, sharing the same space. Pluto's deep transformation, and this is seen through illusion. So perhaps this is a moment to transform ourselves by seeing through the illusion, seeing what's going on out there. And there's a lot of it taking place in the world right here in the United States of America today. We need to see through the illusion of what's going on. But right now, what's real and what's the illusion is the challenge. That's the Capricorn aspect. We need to rise above that. Unexpected change, 8:25 a.m. during the course of this show here. Unexpected change, a lesson. Uranus, something sudden. Okay, so we have a lesson we need to deal with in this area. Then as we get later into this hour, we start to look at that wounded aspect of ourselves. How maybe we can find that healing to bring that forward. And then later tonight, Saturn brings some discipline into the mix with Mercury by disciplining our communication. Okay. So today could be a good day. A lot of thinking going on today. Lots of thinking could be taking place. The numerology for today is the number 7. Here's how we've arrived at that number. 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 4. Add them all together. They add up to a 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. That's our number today, 7. Let's look at our placement on the tree of life. Right here, 7. Charioteer. Wearing the armor. Wearing the armor of God. Wearing the armor that protects ourselves from all of the emotions and the unnecessary elements that are just moving all around. So we have our numerology here. We have our sun sign down here. And we have our moon sign, Capricorn, right here. And if we were to back up from in the numerology, we had number 16 was one of the numbers, 16. This is the card 16 right here underneath the angel. Preconceived ideas that come about through our emotions and our intellect. Okay, if we look at what's going on in the world and we just take a look at some of these things, we could see how they're playing themselves out. All right, let's go ahead and look today at 16, Tower. This is a significant card because this is preconceived ideas. There's a lot of preconceived ideas in the world right now. A lot of preconceived ideas in America right now, what's going on. This card is a lesson we all need to learn through this experience, move past it. This key is attributed to the stage of spiritual unfoldment called awakening, because it represents the flash of clear vision which reveals to the searcher the true nature of his being, which has previously been hidden from him because of his bondage of his consciousness. The tower is the structure of error and ignorance, which is struck by the lightning of spiritual comprehension emanating from the central sun of truth or pure being. The crown, which is knocked from the top of the tower, is willpower, but it is a false crown, for it represents personal will, which has no existence in reality. Right knowledge begins with the flash of comprehension that reveals to us the true nature of will, as symbolized in the ninth key. Hence, what is really overthrown is the delusion that we exist as separate personalities, which delusion is the cause of all human suffering and limitation. The following figures are the two modes of personal consciousness, generally called the self-conscious and the subconscious. The flash of superconsciousness turns all of our conceptions of personal consciousness upside down and utterly destroys these false conceptions. The 22 yods represent the 22 basic modes of consciousness, symbolized by the 22 tarot keys. Okay. Current moon phase is 12% of the way full, making our way up to a full moon. In the night sky, look for Mars to the left of the crescent moon in twilight, as shown above. Right there. There's our moon. There would be Mars. Algo is at minimum light for a couple of hours. Okay. The Mayan Oracle, or the Dreamspell Oracle. We have a magnetic monkey, so it's a new wave spell. This is the wave spell of magic. So it's a phrase of I unify in order to play, attracting illusion. I seal the process of magic with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by my own power doubled. If we take a look over here, we see that today is the one monkey. It is the 6th Khan on the Zolkin. So the difference is, here's where we are today, and the 6th Khan will be right up here. Okay, so that's where our positioning is with the dream spell and then with the Mayan. And again, I explained the correlation to them yesterday. Space weather, solar wind 361.5 kilometers per second, planetary K index currently quiet at a 2. Got a corona hole coming in from the left here, but nothing that is going to affect us. M-class flare possibilities at 40%, X-class at 10%. Geomagnetic storm activity is low, 5% active in the mid-latitudes, and in the high latitudes, 15% is as high as we're going to get for today. And on the Jewish calendar today is 3 Kislev. 3 Kislev. And the daily thought for today is childish love. A child gives love for the sake of love, yet an adult can also learn to do the same. Very good. Good message. Learning to send the love, forgiveness. That's certainly what we need, isn't it? Love and forgiveness. All right. That is our opening. UFO news is up. Let's get to it.
The man, the truth. This is the UFO news with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. This first story comes to us, well, it's a compilation, actually. It's a compilation of, it's a 10-minute compilation that includes many sightings that we have looked at over the course of time. This comes to us from Mr. Enigma. And you've watched these and you've seen these, and they're nice, good compilations. So I want to make this link available so you can see what's out there. Okay, let me move on from this one here. Next, we're going to go over to UFO sighting above Huddersfield, England. New and interesting footage of a bright light recorded in the daytime sky above Huddersfield in England, 16th November 2014. There's our object right out here. All right. Next, we're going to go to UFO follows a Gull airliner Tuesday afternoon, Santa Catarina, Brazil. On the starboard side of the airliner, businessman Julio Belli of São José dos Campos, São Paulo, Brazil, photographed UFOs following the Gull airliner. Both photos were taken from the same position, with or without the effect. An unidentified flying object tailed the passenger plane belonging to Gull Airlines during its regular service between Navegantes, Santa Catarina, and São Paulo. The phenomena is seen by passenger businessman Julio Belli of São José dos Campos, as he observed the skyscape. Equipped with a camera, he managed to take shots of the object, which emitted a bright light, even as on a completely clear day. The event occurred in the afternoon around 1300 hours on Tuesday, the 18th of November. Okay, so on the port side of the airliner, you saw this image. Very interesting indeed. All right, let's move on to the next story. Next story is over RAF WOODVALE. I was driving back to Southport along Formby bypass with my daughter Jasmine. We were chatting about school day when she suddenly exclaimed, "What the hell is that?" Jasmine, sitting next to me, was pointing excitedly over the dark skies of the RAF facility at Woodvale. I quickly glanced to my left, looked upwards, and saw what she was witnessing. An extremely bright white UFO was coming down fast and hard into the area that looked like the pine woods behind the RAF airfield, or even possibly into the Irish Sea behind the trees. Jasmine told me that the UFO was initially yellow in color and had only changed white as it descended. Seeing as I was driving along the bypass, I could not stop, but I had clearly seen the unidentified flying object myself. The usual possibilities, such as firework, aircraft, or sky lantern, did not seem right. A straight guess would be that the space debris of some kind going off what I witnessed in the past. I've reported several times about UFO sightings in the RAF Woodvale area. Here is a selection of examples. Okay, so there you go. Over RAF Woodvale. Up at the space station again. This one we have a UFO matching the speed of the space station. This UFO was found by Street Cap 1. Street Cap 1 finds a lot of good stuff out there. He's on the content watch for any anomalies that pass through the live internet space station cam. Here we caught an object that looks big, but it feels it's much closer than we think. It has matched speed with the space station as it follows perfectly. Alright, let me play this here. It's a 51-second video from Street Cat 1. There's our object right there. And it's just going to follow it along. Alright, very cool. Depictions of UFOs and aliens in Renaissance art. I know I've talked about this before, and I know that you've seen these before, but it's always good to see them again. Western civilization's Middle Age and Renaissance periods created one of the most mysterious and controversial works of art in recorded history. As artists refined their skills and passed them over to their apprentices, these works of art have grown more impressive over the years. Old paintings serve as inspiration to many artists and museum visitors who appreciate the artistic skills of these periods of Western civilization. However, could these old paintings depict something beyond Earth? Something that perceives as a UFO by modern people, such as flying saucers? The common paintings in this era are religious in nature, which seem to depict UFOs, men in aircraft, and laser beams. The apparent UFOs are usually painted overhead, observing religious events, such as the crucifixion of Jesus or his birth. One of the most popular examples of this painting by Domenico Ghirlandaio, the Madonna with Saint Giovanni, the 15th century painting, is currently exhibited at Palazzo Vecchio Museum in Florence, Italy. The painting shows baby Jesus and Saint Mary, but apparently also depicts a man with his dog staring at a UFO in the sky. In the background of the painting, interestingly, the UFO looks like the depiction of modern flying saucer emanating golden radiant energy. So here's what we're talking about. There's Mary. She's holding the baby Jesus. Here we have this man and this object. And some people say, well, maybe this is just a random blip. Maybe it wasn't meant to be there, just a mistake. But then you look at this person, and look what this person is doing. They're shielding their eyes so they could look up at this object. So it confirms the fact that this is not just a glitch, because if it was a glitch, we wouldn't necessarily have another figure painted looking directly at it. So there's something more to it. Okay, we got the brilliance shining around it, indicating some light coming off of it. It says another painting that depicts saucer-like UFO in the same era is the Annunciation by Carlo Crivelli in 1486. It's on display at the National Gallery of London at the moment. The circular object in the painting emanates a narrow beam of radiant energy on St. Mary. Supporters of ancient alien hypothesis believe that this painting shows evidence of the existence of ancient aliens. However, UFO skeptics and artistic scholars would say that this is an artistic representation of angels encircled God. Believers of ancient aliens believe that people at this time considered the appearance of the aircraft as religious events, as evidence in the inclusion of the aircraft on the religious depiction of the paintings. Meanwhile, others say that the depicted objects have nothing to do with flying saucers, and they are mainly spiritual in nature. Okay, so this particular one here is Mary, and here's a ship, and here we see this light. When you enlarge the picture, you certainly see it much better. Here's this beam of light coming from this ship. Okay, and it's called the Annunciation. When she received her message, she was going to have a child. So he depicts it as it came from there, the spaceship. It says UFO and alien skeptics referred the 15th century painting Adoration of the Christ Child by Vincenzo Foppa, which is very similar to the Madonna with Saint Giovanni. The particular painting also includes a man figure staring at the sky in the background. However, in this case, instead of a flying saucer, the man is looking at a winged angel emanating light right up here. The 14th century painting Crucifixion in the Visconti Decani Monastery in Kosovo shows human figures inside an unknown object. However, skeptics say that the object in the painting during this time is the personification of the moon and the sun, which were usually shown as observers during the birth of Jesus. They say that the objects in the crucifixion painting are the moon and the sun, and the human figures inside are personifications of these things. Mysterious celestial objects in the paintings at the end of the Middle Ages. Now, if you look at this picture, they don't have the full one here, but what you'll see is the crucifixion, and right here in the middle is where you see the crucifixion, and up to the left and up to the right you see these. Now, is this the sun and the moon? Well, this does sort of have a circular appearance like the sun there. This does have the crescent-shaped appearance, so it is quite possible it is the sun and the moon. However, these two characters in it just seem to give it a little bit more meaning. Mysterious celestial objects in paintings of the end Middle Ages were depicted by woodcut artist Hans Glaser. The painting shows an event in Nuremberg, Germany on April 14, 1561 that highlighted several moving celestial objects falling to the ground from the sky. This event was witnessed by many people. A 680 Jettison coin from France also depicts a wheel-like object that resembles a flying saucer. Okay. So something was going on. People were seeing some sort of big battle or something taking place. Examples and arguments of both sides will likely to continue for many years, and it seems the next generation will have a difficult time figuring the films of the current generation. Yeah, how about that, huh? Okay. If you happen to hear the interview that I did with Stephen Bassett a couple of weeks ago on the Saturday night show, One Step Beyond Imagination, you heard him talk about this social media effort that he is engaged upon. While Congress and the White House argue over illegal aliens, Stephen Bassett, founder of Paradigm Research Group and a registered lobbyist, continues to demand that lawmakers, the White House, and assorted officials tell what they know about aliens, as in extraterrestrials. The determined Mr. Bassett has already organized a citizen hearing on disclosure last year at the National Press Club in the nation's capital. A DVD of the 30-hour close encounter between witnesses, 6 former congressmen, law enforcement, experts, and journalists was sent to all members of Congress on November 5th, as a matter of fact. Mr. Bassett now says he will renew direct engagement with lawmakers and has organized an aggressive social media campaign among like-minded voters who also want answers about UFO sightings, alien technology, and other matters. He offers a dozen sample tweets for interested folks, a pound, hashtag disclosure, hashtag, and a mission statement dedicated to ending the government-imposed truth embargo regarding extraterrestrial presence engaging the human race. There was some transparency afoot, though. In 2011, the FBI released a limited number of documents immediately deemed the X-Files by the eager press. Still found in the agency deemed its online vault in 2009, the NSA also declassified some historical information and made it public online. So basically what I want you to do is I want you to go to the website for the Paradigm Research Group, and when you go there you will see this announcement here that says "Make it rain." And what you want to do here is the information you need to tweet and email Senate members is here. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to go in here, and here Stephen has organized for you all that you need to do. Tweet these out, Facebook them out, just get them out through the social networks. And that's what this is all about. Okay? Social media effort, it's all geared towards getting these congresspersons who now have the information to actually do something with it, to watch it, and then meet with Stephen to discuss it. Okay? And very last but not least, this is a 11-minute and 12-second video for you. This is a little compilation. It goes on. It's called Spacing Out. They do a nice job of putting together a compilation of UFO stories for you. So I wanted to make that available for you so you have something to watch and check out. So there you have it. That is it. That is what's going on at the moment. I will be back in just a bit. Stay tuned.
Peace. I'm out of here.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
us the way, show us the way, show us the way to live in peace every day. Great Spirit, show us the way, show us the way, show us the way to live in peace every day. Oh, 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 oh. The wheel of life keeps rolling, rolling, rolling round and round, round and round. Nothing you can do will stop it, stop it. Nothing will slow it down. You gotta keep on going, going strong, going strong. You gotta keep believing and keep moving on. Oh, 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 oh. Great Spirit, send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Great Spirit, send down your love, shine down your light, show us the way each and every day. Oh, 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 oh.
All right. That song is called Great Spirit, written well after I returned from a trip from Chaco Canyon. Just kind of wrote itself right through me. Okie dokie, let us move on here. You know about the Library of Alexandria? Oh, this is an article about the Library of Alexandria. The Royal Library of Alexandria, also known as the Ancient Library of Alexandria, still exists. The Royal Library of Alexandria is rumored to have been destroyed by a fire. Historical accounts tell us that the library may have suffered several fires or acts of destruction over a period of many years. Legend has it that Julius Caesar in 48 BC set the library on fire. An attack by Aurelian in 270 AD may have destroyed the library. After the main library was completely destroyed, ancient scholars talk about the daughter library that was built in a temple called Serapeum. Coptic Pope Theophilus was accused of destroying the daughter library in 391 AD. Question: how many books or scrolls were in the library? Answer: King Ptolemy II Philadelphus is said to have placed 500,000 scrolls at the library. Mark Antony gave Cleopatra 200,000 scrolls for the library as a wedding gift. At its peak, the library was said to possess nearly 500,000 scrolls, and although historians debate the precise number, the high estimates claim 400,000 scrolls, while other historians claim as low as 40,000. If 40,000 is the true account, that is still a high amount of written works that would require vast storage space. Why do you say the Library of Alexandria still exists? Because energy is forever. You cannot destroy energy, so therefore the Royal Library of Alexandria still exists. On this plane of existence, we do not have access to the written scrolls of the library. Here are 4 guaranteed ways that the library now exists, and one possible way. See below. Always remember the law of conservation of energy, also known as the first law of thermodynamics. It states that the energy of a closed system must remain constant. If it can neither increase nor decrease without interference from outside, the universe itself is a closed system, so the total amount of energy in existence has always been the same. The forms that energy takes, however, are constantly changing. In light form, light is the purest energy there is, and light is all around us. To write in these papyrus scrolls, the author needed light. The light reflected from these scrolls bounced off the scrolls into the atmosphere and eventually started traveling into space. The light that surrounds our Earth is reflected back into space. As it is, the Earth is constantly making a non-stop motion picture that is being beamed into space. Let us say that they are aliens looking at Earth with a high-powered, high-resolution telescope from the edge of our galaxy, that they are seeing the light reflected off the Earth from our past. As they enhance and enlarge the image of the Earth, they are not seeing the light from our present time, but are seeing the light from our past. They may be watching Julius Caesar addressing the citizens of Rome in a Colosseum. The light reflected off the scrolls lives on forever, and is traveling in outer space. We may not have access to that past light, but it still exists. Via time travel. In the story Alice in Wonderland, our heroine falls into the looking glass and is whisked away to a strange land. In some ways, this is a prime depiction of what time travel may look like. The idea of building a time machine like those often depicted in a scene in a science fiction film and TV is likely stuff of dreams, but one could possibly harness the power of a black hole to venture through time and space. According to general relativity, the black hole could be create a wormhole, a theoretical link between 2 points of space-time, or perhaps even 2 points of different universes. Visiting the past seems to exist. Take the Versailles time slip story. The Versailles time slip story is known as the Moberly-Jourdain incident. This was an event that occurred on 10th of August 1901 in the gardens of Petit Trianon, involving 2 female academics named Charlotte Anne Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain. They basically walked into a great mist that seemed to materialize as many paranormal events, from the Philadelphia experiment, USS Eldridge, to the Bermuda Triangle incident, in which the green mist is referred to as electronic fog, and in both incidents time travel is involved. So they walked into this green mist and found themselves in Renaissance France and confronting Marie Antoinette. You may ask how they would be time traveling into the past would be possible. What if you kill your parents? Then you wouldn't exist. If you travel into the past, you would be like ghosts in the past. You would not be able to interact with anybody in the past, so therefore you would not disrupt the present or future events. Charlotte Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain were like ghosts when they walked into the time slip into our past. If time travel is actually possible, then the Royal Library of Alexandria exists in all of its glory. Brainwaves are energy. What we see, what we read, what we dream exists forever via energy known as brainwaves. When the author was writing on the papyrus, the author was looking at what he or she was writing. What the author's eyes saw when writing, or when the reader saw when reading, is immortalized through the brainwaves. There's communication between neurons within our brains. Brain waves are produced by synchronized electronic pulses from masses of neurons communicating with each other. Brainwaves are detected using sensors placed on the scalp. They are divided into bandwidths to describe their functions, but are the best thought of as a continuous spectrum of consciousness, delta being slow, loud, and functional, to gamma being fast, subtle, and complex. It is a handy analogy to think of brainwaves as musical notes. The low-frequency waves like deep penetrating drum beat, while the high-frequency brainwaves are like the subtle high-pitched flute. Our brainwaves change according to what we're doing and feeling. When slower brainwaves are dominant, we can feel tired, slow, sluggish, or dreamy. The higher frequencies are dominant when we feel wired or hyper-alert. When you are reading a good novel, you are probably using higher frequencies, and of course, if you are reading a book on calculus, you are probably using low-frequency brainwaves. But no matter what waves you are using, you are immortalizing the words on that book, because the words are being changed over to energy, brainwaves. Quantum level energy. Albert Einstein says that E equals mc squared. Matter can be converted into energy, and energy can be converted into matter. On the quantum level, our matter bodies are pure energy, broken up into atoms, and atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons, all energy. So that means that the papyrus in which the stones are written are made up of pure energy on the quantum level. If the scrolls are destroyed by fire, they still exist in an altered state of energy. Yes, the scrolls still exist. Extraterrestrial scans. If extraterrestrials are surveying the Earth since the dawn of time, I would imagine they would be interested in our history, Why would God be so interested in the genealogies of Genesis, the descendants of Adam and Eve? Their answer is because God is concerned about our history. UFOs are cited at almost every major historical event, to the campaign of Charlemagne to the discovery of America by Christopher Columbus. So if extraterrestrials are interested in our history, I would imagine that the watchers are scanning all of our major libraries and collecting the data from these libraries. People have reported seeing UFOs over major libraries and sending down a beam of light. I feel it is very possible that aliens have collected all of the history of the Library of Alexandria. And most of the books in the Royal Library of Alexandria were in papyrus scrolls. The library was founded by Ptolemy I Stodler, who was the Macedonian general and successor of Alexander the Great. The library boasted collections of special works, lecture halls, meeting rooms, and gardens. A research institution called the Museum of Alexandria that was part of the library existed. The Museum of Alexandria is where all of the great thinkers would meet and come together. If we had access to the Royal Library of Alexandria today, we would discover our true origins and our true history. The library exists, but we do not have access to the library, which is unfortunate. Excellent. Very good article. Very good. So we've all heard about the Library of Alexandria. It's one of those places that stretches back to time when we think of Atlantis and all of the information that came along during that civilization. Lots of stuff to be discovered out there. So I want to continue on talking about Ezekiel. You know the story of Ezekiel. Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the sky, right? So a little background on Ezekiel. Ezekiel lived during a time of international upheaval. The Assyrian Empire that had once conquered the Syro-Palestinian area and destroyed the northern kingdom of Israel began to crumble under the blows of the resurgent Babylon. In 612, the great Assyrian city of Nineveh fell to a combined force of Babylonians and Medes. 3 years later, Pharaoh Necho II of Egypt marched north to assist the Assyrians and to try to reassert Egypt's age-old influence over Canaan and Aram. At Megiddo, King Hosea of Judah, who may have been an ally of Babylon as King Hezekiah had been, attempted to intercept the Egyptian forces but was crushed, losing his life in the battle. Okay, so we have a lot of information here if you want to know all about the background of Ezekiel. But what I want to get to is not the background, but his actual vision. So here we go. Now it came to pass in the 30th year of the 4th month, on the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captivity of the river Chebar, that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of God. On the 5th day of the month, which was the 5th year of the king Jehoiarim's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressively to Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of Chaldeans by the river Chebar, and the hand of the Lord was upon him there. Then I looked, and behold, a whirlwind was coming out of the north. A great cloud with raging fire engulfing itself in brightness was all around it, and radiating out of its midst like the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Also from within it came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. Each one had 4 faces, and each one had 4 wings. Their legs were straight, and their soles of their feet were like the soles of calves' feet. They sparkled like the color of burnished bronze. The hands of the man were under the wings of the 4 sides, and each of the 4 had faces and wings. The wings touched one another. The creatures did not turn when they went, but each one went straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, each had the face of a man. Each of the 4 had the face of a lion on its right side. Each of the 4 had the face of the ox on its left side, and each of the 4 had the face of an eagle. Thus were their faces. Their wings stretched upward. 2 wings of each one touched one another, and 2 covered their bodies. And each one went straight forward, and they went wherever the Spirit wanted to go, and they did not turn when they went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, like the appearance of torches going back and forth among the living creatures. The fire was bright, and out of the fire went lightning, and the living creatures ran back and forth in appearance like a flash of lightning. Now as looking at the living creatures, behold, a wheel was on the earth beside each living creature and its 4 faces. The appearance of the wheels and their workings was like the color of beryl, and all 4 had the same likeness. The appearance of their workings was, as it were, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they moved, they went toward any of the 4 directions. They did not turn aside when they went. As for their rims, they were so high they were awesome, and their rims were full of eyes. All around them were 4 of them. When the living creatures went, the wheels went beside them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whenever the spirit wanted to go, they went, because there the spirit went, and the wheels were lifted together with them, for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. And when they went, these went. When those stood, these stood, and when they were lifted from the earth, the wheels were lifted up together with them, for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. The likeness of the firmament above the heads of the living creatures was the color of the awesome crystal stretched out over the heads, and under the firmament of their wings spread out straight one toward another. Each one had 2 which covered one side, and each one had 2 which covered the other side of the body. When they went, I heard the noise of the wings, like the noise of the many waters, like the voice of the Almighty, a tumult of the noise of an army. And when they stood still, they let down their wings. A voice came from above the firmament that was over their heads. Whenever they stood, they let down their wings. Above the firmament over their heads was the likeness of a throne. In appearance like a sapphire stone, on the likeness of a throne was the likeness of the appearance of a man high above it. Also from the appearance of his waist and upward I saw, as it were, the color of amber, and the appearance of the fire all around within it. And from the appearance of his waist and downward I saw, as it were, the appearance of fire with brightness all around, like the appearance and brightness all around it. This was the appearance and the likeness of the glory of the Lord. So when I saw it, I fell on my face, and I heard a voice of one speaking. Okay, very interesting. So this is the sighting by Ezekiel. We've all heard of this many a times. Ezekiel saw the wheel. So sightings of UFOs go back a long way, and this certainly does sound, every time I read through it, it really becomes very descriptive of what kind of craft this was, and that it was a craft, and that things were moving together because they were all part of the same vehicle. And you could imagine, as these wings are unfolding like a craft would have nowadays, we think of some of the planes that we see, the military planes, how the wings open up and then the wings close down. So we could see this type of technology at work in some of what we read about. So it's pretty fascinating indeed. All right, so through the years, we have a lot of changes. Dolores Cannon has talked about the 3 different waves of volunteers that have come down to Earth over the period of time. And this last wave of volunteers, one of the names that is given to them is Indigo children, because they're those who somehow are connected in a bit more than those who've come before them. So people ask, they want to know if they're part of this group. Here's an article in this regards. Indigo children is the name given to the new type of human being born in this generation. Displaying amazing feats of intuition and intelligence beyond their years, these indigos have begun more of a common concept with our lexicon. The list is developed by play theorist Jan Yordi, a former elementary school teacher and a child counselor who's been working with parents and children for 25 years. As we go over the list, see if you resonate with any of these traits. 1. Maybe strong-willed, independent thinkers who prefer to do their own thing rather than comply with authority, figures, or parents. 2. They have a wisdom and level of caring beyond their youthful experience. 3. Traditional parenting and discipline strategies don't appear effective with these children. If you try to force an issue, a power struggle is a typical outcome. 4. Energetically, indigos are vibrating at a much higher frequency, so they can get scrambled by negative energy. 5. Emotionally, they can be reactive and have many problems with anxiety, depression, or temper rages if not energetically balanced. 6 are creative right-brain thinkers, but many struggle to learn in traditional left-brain school system. 7. Often indigos are diagnosed with ADD and ADHD since they appear impulsive and they require movement to help keep them better focused. 8. Indigos are very intuitive and may see, hear, or know things that seem unexplainable. 9. Indigos have more problems with food and environmental sensibilities since their system is more finely tuned. 10. When their needs are not met, these children seem self-centered and demanding, although this is not their true nature. 11. These children have incredible gifts and potential, but they may be shut down when not properly nurtured and accepted. Jan Yorty, the most famously developed the energy connection with therapy workshops and is a founding member of the Integrated Center for Optimal Learning. Jan is the author of the book Indigo Children, The Next Step in Human Evolution. All right, very interesting. So, perhaps you are one of these indigos. Perhaps you have a child and maybe your child is one of these indigos. Or perhaps none of the above and maybe you know somebody, or maybe not, and it's just an interesting story. Either way, it's good information. It's good information. All right, so that brings up to our channeled message here for today. This comes to us from SaLuSa. Here we go.
SaLuSa.
By Mike Quincy, November 21st, 2014.
SaLuSa.
Time marches on and you are now able to adapt to the faster pace it is running at, and still carry out the tasks that you have set yourselves. In the future you will find that it runs even faster and that you will go along with the changes. All that is happening is a part of the process that is going to propel you into the new age. However, your reaction is often one of confusion as so much is happening at any one time. Providing you keep focused on what you know to be the purpose of them, you will see within a pattern that will slowly emerge. It will indicate the direction in which you are going and take you along the pathway to the new age. Nothing can now stop the progress that is being made, and it will bring success in lifting you up out of the lower vibrations. As the changes in the seasons become more pronounced, so it will become apparent to you that the extremes you experience are diminishing. Instead, there are now more acceptable conditions as you begin to move more easily from one season to another. It will result in changes within the plant and animal kingdoms as they also adjust. Indeed, such happenings are already being reported, and will continue until eventually the difference in the seasons will become much less pronounced. The oceans of the world are also being affected, and as they warm up so certain species of life will move to different areas that are suited to them. You are for example sometimes experiencing dramatic changes in the much colder regions. Ice packs are melting at a much faster rate and it is known that over a period of time the sea levels will rise with the consequent changes. You do however have advance warning of what the changes may entail, and have every opportunity to take suitable action. Prepare for the future well in advance and all areas of life will be able to cope with the changes. However, be prepared to accept that life cannot continue as it is, but if preparations are carried out well in advance you will so to say ride out the storm. You have the advantage of being well informed about the nature of the changes, and can prepare in good time. There are also many advanced inventions and technologies that are yet to generally released, and these will also make life a lot easier to cope with. Believe us dear ones that we do not stand idly by without assisting you where possible, and we inspire and guide people so that their knowledge and expertise can help you through the changes. There are also the challenges of a nature that call for a more heads-on approach, and we can assist you to cope with them. As you may already be aware, most of our work is carried out without your knowledge, but there will come a day when we can openly work with you. Those days are not so far away as you might imagine and we look forward to them. You were placed on earth eons of time ago and given free will to create your own future. That you have done, and when you look back you may come to the conclusion that you have still not found complete peace and happiness. Indeed, your history is littered with incidents of war or threats of war, but at great cost in human life, and you have begun to realize the need to live peacefully together. You have experienced what happens when greed and avarice take over, and it gives little comfort to you, but the lessons are gradually bearing fruit. For those souls who still need more time to find the right path to peaceful coexistence, another cycle has begun, and they will have every opportunity to lift themselves up. You have lived through the illusion of material life as it would be without the full energy of love to guide you. Yet the light has still managed to come through to lessen the effect of the darkness created by those who only believe in self-aggrandizement. Some of your lives have been extremely hard, yet others have given you glimpses of the peace and happiness that lies beyond. Once you have tasted the true life, you will settle for nothing less, and the opportunity to do so is within your grasp. Already subtle changes are taking place that will open the doors to the future that awaits you. No lesser beings will be able to spoil the happiness that it brings, as their place is in the lower vibrations that their lives are in harmony with. Knowing what awaits you in the future should enable you to face it with calm assurance, and have no fear of the outcome. Be aware once again that the future is already known, and you will be pleasantly surprised at the speed of the changes. The Dark Ones no longer rule the roost, and they are creating their own future. Their influence is becoming less as they no longer wield the power and authority they once had. So do not be too concerned about their activities, as they are so bound up in their own little world they no longer believe they can fail. However, they are meeting resistance, and by the time they realize what is happening it will be too late to recover. So please keep to a path that will carry you into levels of light of the higher vibrations. As you do so, you will find that you are less and less distracted or affected by whatever is happening around you. You can, so to say, let the world go by as you enjoy the peace within that you have created for yourselves. As much as you feel insulated from events happening around you, you can help others that are struggling with life. It will be a test of how much you have gained and learned from your times in the lower vibrations, and how you can apply yourself to the needs of the day. Sometimes all it requires to help lift up another soul, is a kind word or act that helps bring light into their life. I am SaLuSa from Sirius, and feel the growing excitement at the realization that changes are occurring that will bring the new age into being for you. At last you have reached the end of the cycle, and it only remains for the old age to be swept away, to make room for the new one that will bring you the most happy times and utter joy.
Thank you, SaLuSa.
All right. That's a very good positive message of the change that we know is ahead of us, confirming for us this change. All right, so that brings us to our meditation. So as we go into our meditation, let's focus on peace. Right now, there's a lot of people in this country flipping out. I don't know if this issue is a racist issue or a police brutality issue or one that has it all mixed together. But it seems like those issues are all thrown into this. And there's a portion of society that is very angry and is just wants to deal with this in the unfortunate way of rioting and causing problems. And we don't need that. We don't need that in America, and no one needs this. We don't need members of our human race running around acting like crazy animals that don't know how to control themselves. So for all of those that are out there, individuals, let's just send peace and let's just send love and understanding, not only to them, but to also those who are probably scared throughout this whole situation of the violence that's all around. So let's do our part and just send some good vibes to help the situation. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath. Exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. And another deep breath. And exhale. Now imagine yourself out in the streets today, and you see people walking down the road, angry, upset, frustrated by the situations of life, whatever they may be. And you see people out there taking their frustrations out in physical ways against others, against property, against their country. You see people destroying their own environments. And none of this makes sense. So as you walk through these areas, you simply send light and love. And you send a little message out to them. Why are you destroying your home? And you just keep moving. And as that thought begins to sink in and people realize that the only ones that are being hurt through this violence are those that are creating the violence, they begin to stop. And little by little we see those causing problems stopping and taking time to go inside to connect with their true selves, their higher selves. And in doing so, we see the peace sweep across this country as violence turns into peaceful expressions. And through the peaceful expressions, we find a way to fix our problems and to move forward. In all of this, we imagine that all of those who are out there causing the problems, instigating the situation, we know who they are. We just imagine them disappearing out of existence, fading into nothingness. And as we imagine all the bad fading away, while the good continues to grow, the planet becomes more peaceful. So let's just imagine sending light and love out into the world. Imagine a blanket of love around the planet. Imagine love through each and every country being absorbed by other citizens. And let's just imagine this as we go into the world today, sending love out into the world. Love and peace. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. There you have it, my friends. That is it for today. That's our show. Thank you very much for being here. As you go into the world today, be safe. Have compassion for the situation that's taking place. Let's see if we can find a solution through all of this. I know we can do it. I love you. Keep loving each other. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace. Have a good day. I'm out of here.